One of the worst things that can happen as a filmmaker or content creator is, well, losing your content. We put so much time and effort into capturing amazing images and footage, and we need to also consider how to organize and store all of this so that we don't lose it. In this video, I wanted to share with you my approach to my content in data management. I'll show you how I organize my files and folders and share the hardware that I use to store and back up my footage so that it's safe. So after editing this video, I just realized that it's gonna run like 20 minutes long, so I decided to split it into two parts. In this part, I'll break down how I organize my data on folders, and then I'll put a link to the second video where I'll show the hard drives that I use and how I use them. So let's get back to the video. This is how I've been managing my media for a few years now, and I'm sure it's gonna change over time and in the future. This is just what works for me, and it might not be what works best for you, but maybe if you're just starting out and trying to get organized, this can give you some inspiration or ideas. If you're doing things differently, I'd love to hear some of the things that are helping you stay more organized. So let's just jump right into it. So this is my YouTube hard drive and where I store all of my content that I shoot for YouTube. In this folder, I store all of my animations and assets that I purchased over the years. There's things like YouTube banner templates and animated text things for lower thirds and all my social media stuff. You know, like the generic subscribe button animations and the channel intro templates, and I store all of the original files and folders which I downloaded from the internet in here. I'll put a link in the description to where I get all this stuff. These two folders below are two different projects that I did for Ninja Kitchen. I just have them in here because I didn't want to mix it with the other content, and once the final videos are approved, I plan on deleting this off this hard drive, so you can just ignore this for now. So inside my YouTube folder, I have a bunch of other folders. I'll get back to what's inside this template folder and how I use it in a minute. The next two folders down are my main content folders. So on my channel, I make cooking videos, but then I also make videos on how to create cooking and food related content. So let's just jump into my cooking videos folder first. So in this folder, the very first thing you see in here is my finished edits. This is where I'll store all of the content that I already shot, edited, and uploaded, and basically finish that project, but I don't want to delete all of my footage. So I save all of my footage. So I just put this into this finished edits folder so that it doesn't get mixed up with all of the other content that I plan on shooting in the future. The next thing I have in here is my assets folder. So this is all of the YouTube assets that I use for all of my cooking video content. So I have things like my channel cooking opener animation. I also have my end screen, which is a 20-second animation or like video that I put at the end of all of my videos. And then I also have my food intro. And what this food intro basically is I say this intro in the beginning of all of my cooking content or in my past cooking content. And instead of me having to say this over and over for every video and re-edit this clip for every video, I just made it once and I exported it as its own video. And then now all I have to do is drag and drop this into each of my projects. That way it's just perfectly there for all of my intros. And then I also have all of my animated Instagram follow buttons, my like, my subscribe bell. And then I do have music that I use for all of my channel openers as well. And then I also have another video that I was using previously for my Patreon plug. You can also help support me and my channel by joining my Patreon. I post exclusive content, and that's everything that I have in this assets folder and everything I need. The next folder down is my music selection folder. And what I'll basically do is go into any of the music websites and I'll spend a day just listening to a bunch of different tracks. And if there's any ones that I like, I'll save them and I'll put them inside of this folder. That way when I'm looking for music, I don't need to go to the website and dig. I already have a selection that I can choose from that I know that I like already. And then below that we have a bunch of different folders for some upcoming recipe videos that I plan on making in the future. Let me show you what's inside of these folders or these project folders. So I have this here steak video here. And inside of all of my projects, I have all of these folders. I have my assets folder, I have my audio folder. So this is all the audio that I capture on my wireless microphone or my lav that's recorded separately for my video. I have my exports folder. This is where I'll put all the videos that are finished editing, and then I export them into this folder. And then I have my media folder. This is where I'll save any of my music choices, and I'll put them in this folder. And then in my project folder, this is where I save my actual project and project files. And then inside of that, I have my video folder. And then inside of that folder, there's multiple folders for the 2 camera angles that I ran for this particular video. So I had a wide angle here. And then here is my close-up angle here. So next I'll show you what's in my YouTube food content creation folder. And similar to the recipe video folder, we have my finished edits folder. And then here is some upcoming content that I plan on shooting in the future, or I'm actually shooting right now. All of these folders correspond to other projects that I have already planned out. If we look in my Google Drive, for example, I have similar folders, YouTube recipe cooking and food content, with links to my scripts for this content. So all of these folders correspond to different projects which I plan to film in the near future. I created a whole nother video on how I organize and plan my content, and I'll be sure to put a link in the description if you want to check that out. So earlier I mentioned that I have this template folder, and what's inside of this template folder are the other folders that I pretty much put in every one of my projects. So instead of having to create a new folder and rename them every single time, I just created this template, so all I need to do is copy them, and then I can go into this project folder and then paste it. It would just be time consuming to constantly make those folders. So having this template folder up here is great because all I need to do is just select them, I can copy them, and then when I want to start another project, I can just simply paste those folders in here and they're ready to go. The next folder I have is my vlog content. And I have this organized by year as well as some of the major vlogs that I've been working on for a while now. So here's my 2019 folder, and I have a lot of stuff organized by date and the event that I filmed that day. And then same thing with 2020. And then I also have all of the major things that I've been filming for a while now, like my whole Invisalign journey of getting my teeth straightened, my workout routine, and my whole workout journey. And when I first started YouTube, I didn't know what my channel was going to be about. So for years, I was just filming everything. And you can see here I have a lot of footage for potential vlogs. But since I kind of niched down, I'm kind of sticking with, my recipe content and my content to teach other people how to shoot food content. I do have a lot of vlog footage that I'm not sure if I still want to do something with it. Leave a comment and let me know if you are interested in seeing some vlog content stuff. I have a lot of stuff that I could share. So maybe I'll offer this to my YouTube members, or I'll make a separate channel that I'll host all of this stuff in the future. The next folder down is my travel folder. And then in here is a few trips that we went on over the years. And inside of these folders, we have those similar folders that we saw earlier. And same thing for our California trip, similar folders, and inside of that, a subfolder for all of the major events or days that we spent in California. And in Japan, same thing as well. We have our main project folders, and then inside of the video folder, I actually have subfolders for all of the different trips that we went to Japan. And if you want, we can look inside of those folders as well, where I have, some camera phone stuff that I took off of our phones and saved them onto the hard drive, some photos that we took, and we also have another video folder. And inside of that, we have our subfolders with all of the major events separated and organized into their own folders. So, we went and saw a baseball game, we took a cooking class, we went to the aquarium. And then the next folder down is my restaurants footage folder. This is something that I started shooting recently. These are some shoots that I went to restaurants and I was compiling a bunch of footage for these different restaurants that we like to visit. And I was planning on sharing this content in sort of like if you're traveling to Hawaii, you got to check these places out. I think what I'm planning on doing is repurposing some of this content for possible, hey, this is a place that I like to eat. I'm going to try and copycat their recipes. So I just kept that footage. And then the last folder in this hard drive is my thumbnails folder. And this is where I save my Photoshop project for my thumbnails template. And this just makes it easy because I don't need to reinvent the wheel for every thumbnail. All I need to do is open this project, and then I have to just swap out my photo and swap out the text, and then I can export it, which goes into my export folder with my finished exports. And then I do save some photos that I've taken for the thumbnail. I'll put them in here. And then I also have a folder full of headshots, which are kind of funny. One day I actually just spent a bunch of time shooting a bunch of those typical YouTube shots where you kind of like point and look and question. And these are ones that I plan on like cutting myself out and then superimposing them over the thumbnail with a background. But I did shoot a bunch of different photos, and that's what that looks like. So that's all of the folders and how I organize everything on my hard drive. I save all of my personal content forever, and I never delete it off of any of my hard drives. You just never know when you might need the footage, and because it's nicely organized, it's easy for me to search and locate shots that I could possibly use for another project. You can never be too safe, so that's why I always recommend at least having 2 copies of all of your footage backed up. In my other video, I talk about the types of hard drives that I use and the ways that I store and back up my footage. So be sure to check that out. I'll put a link in the description so you can find it. I hope that you found value in this video. If you did, be sure to give it a like, and I will catch you in the next one. Aloha.